I'm going to make a series of video about how can we build real AI employees. Thanks to you guys, I got a crazy ride past months with my YouTube channel. But I also got a problem. There are tons of email to be replied in the inbox every day, as well as a message from Discord, Telegram, Twitter, in addition to the new projects that I need to catch up, as well as video editing work. So I actually start thinking about whether I should outsource some of the work to other people. But on the other side, I've made a few videos about AI autonomous agents. And that start getting me thinking, why can't I start building some AI employees to take care of this work instead of me outsource or hire someone? This would be a very interesting experiment to see how far can we push the AI agents. So I'm going to start a series of videos to create those digital employees for different type of roles and tasks that I personally will need. And I'm going to be very pragmatic about the approach. Swift has a really good analogy that AI agents to some extent is like self-driving cars. While a lot of people are trying to work on the level 5 for autonomous AI agents, there are quite a lot of opportunities in terms of building level 3 or even level 2 AI agents where it still requires some human guidance but can deliver much better results at this stage. So my goal is not try to build a fully autonomous agents, but building an AI employee that can get the work done, even though it requires some guidance from me. And if you don't know what AI agents is, it's an AI that can do the task planning based on a given goal and also take actions with specific domain knowledge and memory. So it can complete really complex tasks. And the first AI employee I want to build is community moderator. I opened up my Discord community a few days ago, but the problem is I'm based in Australia while most of you are coming from different parts of the world with wildly different time zone. So it's very hard for me to be able to respond messages in a timely manner. So ideally, I would love to have a community moderator who can proactively engage with people 24/7. It should have very deep domain knowledge in AI and software development. It should also researching about different AI trends and share with the community proactively. And that is exactly what I built past few days. An AI community moderator who has specific domain knowledge and can engage in the conversation 24/7. I'm going to show you step by step how can you build your own AI community moderator too. There are challenges for each of those tasks that we want the AI community moderator to do. For the most basic one, where the moderator needs to chat with people proactively, how should the AI behave in a group chat setup? Because most of the AI agents that we saw today is kind of in one-on-one basis. But in the Discord, there will be a group of 20, even hundreds of people talking at the same time. So how should it behave? And on the other side, the AI should have a long-term memory about each community member. So not only the conversation will feel more genuine, but also AI moderator can connect community members with similar interests together. And for the second one, where we want the AI moderator to have deep AI domain knowledge, we also need to figure out a way for the AI agent to retrieve knowledge from my YouTube channel content, my GitHub repo, as well as the internet for the latest information. And it should be smart enough to know when to retrieve which data source. So this is something we need to figure out too. And third, for the AI moderator to be able to share AI trends and news, we need a way to schedule tasks for agents as well, so it can proactively doing those things. So there are a few challenges we need to overcome. And instead of build everything from scratch, I want to see who has done this before. And this one open source project called Discord AI chatbot on GitHub. It is done by a developer called Misha. It already integrates OpenAI into a Discord bot. So it takes care of all the legwork of setting up Discord bot. And it also figure out a few design patterns in terms of how the AI should behave in group chat setup. For example, you can define a list of trigger words of when this AI moderator should respond. So when someone sends a message that includes those trigger words, the AI bot will automatically fetch the last 5 messages this person has been engaged. It can be either a direct message this person sent. It can also be a message that reply to this person. What's really good about this one is even though you have 5 person talking about different things in the same channel, the AI will be able to understand the context of the conversation related to this person. The only problem is currently the AI agent just have the past 5 conversation history. So it won't be able to remember what this person talked about 1 month ago. And on the other side, it is not necessarily an agent. It's not able to do complex tasks. However, it is building in a way that is super flexible to customize. So I'm going to use this to build out this AI moderator. Firstly, let's install this Discord AI chatbot. It's pretty straightforward. You will git clone this repo on your computer. And once you did that, open the project folder in Visual Studio Code. Inside the terminal, try to do pip install requirements, so that it will install all the dependencies. And next is you will need to create Discord app. So you can click on the link here and click on new application, give a name, and then you will go to the bot tab, scroll down and turn on all the privileged gateway intent, and then move up, click on reset token. Then you will get this token that you can copy, go to your project folder, rename this example env to .env and paste in your Discord token here. And next you can set up your OpenAI API key. And here is something that I didn't know before. So this is a Discord channel called Naga AI where you can get free access to OpenAI key. I honestly don't really understand where did they get those free API key and why did they distribute it for free, but I tried it and it actually worked. All you need to do is just join their Discord channel and go to any channel, do /keyget. And this will give you access to all the major large language model, including GPT 3.5 and GPT-4. And all you need to do is just copy this API key and paste that in the .env file for the Chimera GPT key. And that's it. Now you can start running this AI chatbot by doing Python main.py. You will get this invite link and invite this bot into any of the server you have. And here you can see that this new bot I created is already in my server. And if you check the default trigger words, I can post a message, hey chatbot, tell me a joke. The moment you send out a message, there will be a little icon here and you can see it responds. So the free API key is actually working. And next is we want to do some customization about this bot to give it a special name and personality, different trigger words. You will go to the config.yaml file. This is where you will change all the configuration. For example, you can change the large language model here, and we can also change the trigger words. For example, I want to change the name of the bot to be Bob, so I can add a new trigger word Bob. And I also wanted to engage in conversation when someone try to say hi or hey or yo. I can save this. And below, you can also define a list of blacklist words that the bot won't be able to respond to. And next is you can also add new personalities. You will open the instructions folder where they have a list of predefined personalities. So we can create bob.txt and I can paste in the system prompt here. Your name is Bob, some definition about who this person is and how should he behave. You can save this and then go to config.yaml again. On the line 16, we can add the name here, Bob, and also rename the bot here. Let's run again. So I will go back to this Discord channel and say, hey, who are you? And now it will return a message that my name is Bob. How can I assist? So now this custom bot is up running. If your use case only involved to change some personality or system prompt, then it's already up running. But in my case, I want to customize further by turning it into agent with long-term memory instead of just an OpenAI call, and also set up knowledge retrieval tools so that it can have my domain knowledge. And in the end, I want to schedule some tasks for it. So to do those customization, we will first need to understand how this project is structured. So we have the main file called main.py. This defines the main behavior for the Discord bot, like what kind of function it should trigger when it receives a message, as well as defining those quick command functions for the bot. And all those functions are defined under this folder called bot utility. And the main one related to AI is under this AI utility. To understand the way it works now, you can go to the main.py and scroll down to line 120, where they have a onMessage function. So this part is where it defines what kind of functions should be triggered when the bot receives a message. And if you go down to the line 160, you can see the way it works now, it will get the user ID as well as the channel ID, and then try to fetch the past 5 messages sent from this user in that channel. And it will trigger a search function to get relevant data on internet. Then it will compose a chat history, trigger generate response, which is defined in AI utility file, where it will compose both the system prompt, search results, history into a chat history like this, and then do a simple OpenAI chat completion to get the response. We need to replace this part to be an agent. And because agent has long-term memory, we don't actually need to compose the chat history like this. We just need to pass on the latest user message, and the agent can actually smartly decide when to use search or knowledge retrieve. So we don't need to always run this search as well. So firstly, I will try to change this part from line 162 to into something like this. So I will try to compose the user input first, where I got the ID, which is user ID as well as channel ID, then the username by doing message.author.global name, and then get the message that the user sent, as well as passing on the name of this AI. And for the response, I will still trigger the generate response function, where I will pass on the instruction, which is system prompt that we defined earlier, as well as the user input that we defined above. What I need to achieve is for each user, it should have a unique chat history and memory. So even though in a group channel where you have 5 users talking about different things, the agent can still respond accordingly to that specific user. And to do that, we will open this AI utility.py, try to paste in a list of different libraries that we're going to use. I would be using LangChain agent framework. And above the generate response function, I'm going to create a mapping of different agents for each user. Then I will update the generate response function to take only 2 inputs, instructions and user input. And firstly, we will try to get the user and channel ID and also the message that user is sending. And if the ID didn't exist in the agent list, then we will try to get the username and the AI's name and initiate a new agent. But if this user already triggered a agent before, we will just get that specific agent that has already been created. In the end, we will do agent run with the message that the user sent out. And after that, we will need to create another function above it called create agent, where we will take the ID, username, AI name, and the original system prompt. We will put the system prompt in the system message and define the actual agent arguments with system message as well as memory. And for the memory, I will use conversation buffer window memory with memory key equal to memory, return message equal to true, and also the AI prefix as well as user prefix, so that the chat history won't be user and assistant, but it will be the AI's name and user's name. So it gives extra context. And then I will add a search function as part of tools that agent can use. And in the end, we will initialize this agent. and save this newly created agent into the agent list that we defined above. So this will change the AI engine from a OpenAI chat model to be an agent. And one thing I realized is for some reason, I couldn't get the free API to work with the LangChain agent. If you know the solution, please let me know. Otherwise, what I did, just comment out this 2 line of code, add OpenAI API key in the .env file. And once you did that, we can try to run python min.py. And I can send out a message, hey Bob. So you can see on the left side, it's entering new agent executor chain and return message. So that means now all the messages are actually returning from the AI agent instead. This allows us to build a more sophisticated AI chatbot. The next thing is I want to making sure the AI moderator has specific domain knowledge. My YouTube channel content, my GitHub repo, as well as the internet. And I want it to have a specific type of behavior. Whenever it tries to answer a question, it will try to search inside our internal and curated knowledge base first, because I have more control of the data quality here. But if there's no relevant data inside my personal knowledge base, then go online and do some deep research. And my plan to achieve that is I will firstly create a research agent whose main goal is do knowledge retrieval of a given topic, and then put this research agent as a tool along with other tools that it might have access later. And the main benefit of this architecture is that I can give very specific and detailed system prompt for the research agent to guide the behavior without adding too much noise for the main agent. And on the other side, during the research, there could be a huge amount of data coming through internet and knowledge base. And I don't want those information to take up all the token context of the memory for the main agent too. And to achieve this research agent, I will need to add a few functions. Firstly, we will need a knowledge retrieval function where our knowledge base. We will also have a list of functions to enable agents to do deep online search, which including Google search to return list of results and scraping the website. And also a summary in case the website content is very big. And in the end, we will create a research agent with access to all those different tools we defined above. So firstly, the knowledge retrieval function. The internal data I want to create is mainly 2 parts. One is the YouTube video content. And I already got a blog where I transcribe all the YouTube video. So I basically need to turn my website into a knowledge base. And on the other side, I also want to include the GitHub data as well. You can build a retrieval augmented generation pipeline using Llama Index and also PyCon. But my challenge is my knowledge base need to be updated every week. So I want an easy interface for me to keep updating the knowledge base and automatically vectorize everything. That's why I decided to use some quick no-code solutions. There are multiple platforms you can do that. The one that I'm pretty familiar with is called Relevance AI. To do that is pretty straightforward. I can create a new tool called knowledge retrieval. And at top, I can start importing my knowledge data. So I will click website and then paste in my website URL, give a title and click continue. Once it's finished, I will see a little item here. If I click inside, you can see that it already is scripting my whole website with the text extracted. And if I publish a new blog, I can just add a new row here and it will automatically re-vectorize everything. So it is quite easy to manage the vector database. And after that, I will start creating the RAG pipeline. So I will add an input called query, which is the information that we want to retrieve. And then I will add a large language model step, giving the context, which is knowledge. And then the question is query and let it give an answer. And I will click on this knowledge button, change the vector search query to be the user query that I'm going to give and click save. And that's pretty much it. So I can test out what's the email of AI JSON and click on run all. You can see it is working as it returns the proper email address from my website data. And once I finish, I can click on the use tab and then go to the API endpoint and use this API endpoint as the knowledge retrieval step. So I go back to the AI utility.py, create this function called knowledge retrieval, where it will take one input, which is query, and I will pass on this query as well as the project ID and send a post request to the API endpoint with this data. And if it succeeds, then I will get the response, which is like this one. So this is how I can do knowledge retrieval. And again, if you want something more sophisticated, you can totally use Llama Index to create something more advanced. And if you're interested, please comment below. I can make another video about this. After that, I will need to implement a list of different functions for doing online research. And here I will use almost exactly the same research agent that I built before. So you can check out that video if you need more information. Firstly, I will move up and remove the original search function because we don't need it. And I will create this search function where we define the API endpoint, which is a free API endpoint for search on DuckDuckGo. And then I will give a param where it will search a specific query that is given and limit to 5 results. And we will do a get request. And if it succeeds, it should return a list of the search results and relevant links. And then we'll create another function called script website, which will do the website scripting. So we will define the header as well as data that will be sent, which is URL that we want to script. Then we're using the browserless, which is a scripting service. You can gather data out from a certain URL. If we got a response successfully, we will use Beautiful Soup, which is a Python library to help us clean up the data to just get the text. But if the length of the content is very big, like more than 10,000, and let a large language model to do a summary of this content. And the summary function will look something like this, where we break down the content into small chunks. And for each chunk, we will ask it to write a summary. And that's pretty much it. So we have all those functions written. All we need to do now, just create a research agent. So I have a research function with a query item, and I will define a very specific behavior. You are always searching for internal knowledge base first to see if there are any relevant information. And if the internal knowledge base doesn't have any good results, then it should go search online, where I have a list of very detailed behavior requirement for how you should do online search. And in the end, it should return all the relevant information and links that it could find. And then I will add this as part of the agent arguments, define the large language model, as well as a list of tools, and initialize the agent and try to run the result. All we need to do last is go into the create agent function and change the tool name to be research. And the function name will also be research, which point to the research agent function that we created. And I will give it description. Always use this to answer questions about current event data or terms that you don't really understand. You should ask target questions. I might also add another tool with script website, because sometimes the agent might need to do deeper research, but sometimes the user just give you a URL link, and I want the agent to have ability to get the website content directly. So that's it. Now this agent should be able to do very deep online research as well as look into my internal knowledge database. So let's try it. So I can try to ask a question like, what's AIJSON's email? It will be able to return exactly my email address from the internal knowledge base. But if I ask it some question that is not covered in my internal knowledge database, like what is Falcon 180B? Then on the left side, you can see it search Falcon 80B inside my knowledge retrieval database, but then it returned no results, so it started doing the Google search instead. It script a few websites and in the end give me a summary about Falcon 180B. So it achieved this pretty smart moderator agent that it has both internal knowledge as well as the latest internet data. It should be able to cover a wide range of different questions. So we've been building a pretty good AI moderator already that is able to respond to users' message 24/7 and also has very deep domain knowledge. The last part I want to do is I wanted to share the latest AI trends and news from different data sources like Twitter, GitHub, and even different newsletters. And for the initial MVP, I will scope it down to once every 2 days, check this GitHub trending repo page and filter out the list of projects that is getting very popular and also relate to generative AI, and write a report, something like this, so that the community member can keep update about those trending projects. So first, I will generate function for agent to generate a trending GitHub repo reports and then implement scheduler feature. And very quickly, I had one problem. Even though I already implement scraping website function with browserless, but the content returned from browserless is not good enough. For example, this is the raw data returned from browserless. It has a lot of information that is not needed. And it also doesn't include a link to the specific GitHub repo because as it is not the absolute URL. So data parsing for some website is a quite big problem. However, I found one platform that solved this problem really well. It's called Browse AI. It allows us to extract structured data from those websites that is hard to script. For example, I can put in this GitHub training page. It will open up this new page, but has a little robot on the top right corner. I want to get a list of those trending GitHub repo for the week. So I can click on this button, change to this week instead, and then click on capture list button. This will highlight the whole list that it is going to script. And after that, I will choose each element that I want to extract from this list. It will be both the name of the repo, the link of the repo, description, the total amount of stars, the star of the week. And once I finish, I click enter. It will ask me to give a name. So I will give it repo name, repo link, repo description, total GitHub star this week. If your page requires scroll and pagination, it also can support that as well. And click capture list, finish recording. And once it's done, you can see it returns complete structured data about repo name, link, description, and all the information I want. This can even work with some gated website like Amazon or LinkedIn. Once it's all good, you can click on yes, looks good. Then you have this scraping robot, and I will click on this integrate page. They have a REST API, and this is the one that we will call from our agent moderator. And we will basically use two API endpoints. One is run a robot, another is retrieve the task result, because sometimes the scraping task can take a while if you are scraping a very big website. So normally it will trigger a robot first, and then we will need to check whether the task has been finished every 5 seconds. Once it's finished, we will get the result back. And to do that, I will go back to the AI utility.py and add some new functions. I will break that down into 5 different functions. So firstly, I will have a function to trigger scraping task. It basically just triggers the run robot API endpoint to let it script this GitHub training URL. And after that, I will have another function to check status of that task. After that, I will stitch them together to trigger the task first and get task ID back, and then check the task status every 5 seconds. If the status code is 200 and the status is successful, then it will return the capture list, which is script data. But if the status is failed, then it will return fail to get data, and and same for other status code as well. Once we get those repo, I will feed those repo to a large language model call with special prompt to ask it to generate this report. And in the end, I have this function called generate generate training get report to stitch them together. If you want, you can try to run this function inside AI utility.py. It should return a result looks something like this. And next is we need to set up a scheduled task so that every 2 days the agent will trigger this task and post a report in the Discord. Luckily, Discord actually supports those scheduled tasks pretty easily. Back to the main.py, import a new library from discord.ext called tasks, as well as import the utility function that we just created called generate training get report from the AI utilities. And below our defined task.loop hours equal to 48, and below that our defined scheduler function. This basically means whatever inside the scheduler function will be triggered every 48 hours. And just for testing purpose, I can change this to be 5 seconds instead, and it will just print hello. And then I'll move up to around line 79 under this unready. So this basically means what should happen after the bot is loaded. So I will insert this scheduler.start, which means the scheduler will be counted when the bot is set up, and run the function every 5 seconds. So we can try this. Okay, you can see here that every 5 seconds it will start printing out a hello. That means this is working. So all we need to do now, just trigger that generate GitHub report function every 48 hours and send to the relevant channels. And to do that, I also want to implement a Discord command line where it can activate a scheduled task for a specific channel. And for now, the task can be generating GitHub reports, but later if we have more scheduled tasks for the agent, we can also adding more options there. And from this, we will be able to know when the AI generates that GitHub reports, which channels it should send to. And to do that, under the main.py, I will add that command under the toggle active. So it's around the line 260. And then insert this block of code. Firstly, we will add a hybrid command named called schedule. And then I will define some commands choices. Command choice basically allow you to define a few inputs with multiple choice options. And in my case, will be the task name. So I will give it tasks with 2 options, generate GitHub reports and say hello. And after that, I will define a function called schedule task with the input called ctx. This basically refers to the context of the chat where this command line is sent to, so that we know which channel ID it is. So we will get a channel ID where this command has been sent out and create a JSON file called channel schedule tasks.json. Inside this JSON file, I will define a list of active channels for each scheduled task, so that every time when someone tries to toggle the schedule in certain Discord channel, it will check, does this channel ID already exist in this JSON file? If it is, then it will remove this channel ID from the list, and then send out a message that the scheduled task has been disabled. However, if the channel ID doesn't exist, then we'll add this channel ID inside the JSON file. And after that, we will also initialize this scheduled task variable by reading the initial value from this JSON file. And I will also initialize scheduled channels variable at top after active channels. And then I'll move down here and paste this code snip, which basically means it will try to get a list of scheduled channels, trigger this generate trending GitHub report function that we created before, and we will send out the message. And in the end, I will change it from 5 seconds to 48 hours. And this is pretty much it. Now you have a fully functional AI moderator. You can try to run Python main.py. And once you run it, you will see a message like this, which means it actually triggered the scheduled task. And it will send a message in a specific channel that has turned on this scheduled task. It is able to jump on and answer people's questions and even automatically start some conversation. For example, I share a link of a project I saw is pretty interesting. Then it will automatically scraping their website and get some more information. The last part you might want to do is deploy it on a cloud service, so you don't need to keep running on your computer. And there are multiple different platforms you can do the deployment. The one I'm using is Render. You will first go to the requirement.txt and add 2 new libraries that we're going to use, Lanching and the Beautiful Soup, and click Save. Then fork and upload this repo to your GitHub account. And then we'll go to Render, click on New Web Service. Choose the first option, select that specific repo you uploaded, give a name, choose the runtime to be Python 3, and start command with python main.py. And after that, we will add a few environment variables, which is 3 items you got from .env file. So you were adding them here, as well as Python version equal to 3.11.2. And once you did everything, you can click on Create Web Service. Once it's finished, it should be up running. The only caveat here is that if you're using the free version of Render, they will actually spin down the inactivity. So unless your Discord channel is super active, you will need to use some uptime monitor service like Uptime Robot. And to use it, pretty straightforward. Just create an account and click on Add New Monitor and choose HTTP. You will give a name, then copy this URL you have from Render into the URL here. And the rest of the options you don't really need to change. You can just create a monitor. What this will do is basically every 5 minutes, it will ping your API endpoint, so it won't get into that inactivity state. So this is how you can build and deploy an AI moderator for your Discord community. It is still pretty early stage AI worker, but the good thing is it does work 24/7. And I start seeing some good engagement from my Discord channel. So if you're interested, feel free to join my Discord and give me some feedback on how I can improve it. I'll continue this series about building AI employees. So if you do find this interesting, please consider giving me a subscribe, and I see you next time.